Hi, this is Melissa Studdard, and I'm getting set up for Poets in Pajamas reading. And I can't tell if anyone's here yet or not, so I'm just sort of hanging out for a minute, making sure that everything is working well. So if anyone is there, please let me know if the audio is okay and if you can see me okay. I'm sort of moving the lamp a little bit to make sure that you can see me and I have enough light and all of that. Let's see here. I see people. I see the little eye with people there. So if you're there, will you let me know if you can hear me okay? The last time I tried to do this, it was not really quite loud enough, so I want to make sure that everyone can hear me. Can you hear me? Oh. While I'm waiting for someone to let me know if y'all can hear me, I will tell you about my shirt. I have a Scooby-Doo shirt on. I used to love to watch it when I was a kid, so it's something that I like to sleep in. It felt fitting for Poets in Pajamas. Okay, I see people there. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? Hmm. Let me see what I can do about the comments. Um, Discussion. Let me see. Okay. So the comments are started. You should be able to comment. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? This is so funny because I can't tell if anyone's here or not. I mean, I can see a lot of little numbers by the eye, which would indicate that people are here, but I can't tell if anyone can hear me or not. So let me know, someone. That'd be great. Grabbing my phone to see if anybody texted me to let me know that you can or cannot hear me. Oh, I know. I'll write it as a comment. Mm, Okay, that's it. So, okay, well, I can't tell whether people can hear me or not, so I'm just going to start. And I think if people can't hear me, then you can let me know and I'll figure it out or speak up or something. So I'm Melissa Studdard. I'm a poet and I am sharing poems from a few different projects tonight. One of them is this. It's called Like a Bird with a Thousand Wings, and it's a chapbook. It's my most recent publication. So I'll be sharing poems from this and also new poems. So let me see here. Oh, I just got a notification. Maybe somebody is telling me that they can or cannot hear me. Oh, my audio is great. Thank you. Okay, fantastic. I'll quit asking that question then. Okay. So let's see. I mean, oh, I see. Okay. Somebody said that I need to scroll for comments. I can't tell how to do that. So, okay. So I just want to say before I start that I am taking questions. Part of this reading is a Q&A, and apparently there is some delay in commenting. So if you want to ask a question, feel free to post it even while I'm reading, and I'll see it later. So I guess I'll just go ahead and start reading. And the first poem that I'm going to read is a new poem and it is called You Say Cognitive Dissonance. I Say I Lost My Basket Full of Light. We eat sweetness, and that's it. We don't just make lemons into lemonade. We make them into adult beverages featuring lemonade, or popsicles, or lemon meringue pie. We worship in line at Costco, where we find 7,000 boxes of enlightenment, nutrition labeled. We worship in an empty lot where lime green frogs call to lime green birds across a dry cleaner's parking spot. When we uncross and cross our legs, we unleash ourselves the way a sigh out of rhythm with the rest of the breath becomes a bluebird flying into another color. The truth is, we are really just here to revise each other's dreams, to tap the anthem of survival on our pots and pans, in sync from our balconies. I dream of boxes that don't need to be sprayed with Lysol before the music stops playing. I dream of workers who return and return and return to redo the same job, the way I've trained my mind repeatedly to a piece I am making up as I go along. Once it seemed life was for touching others. Now we know just how far apart we can stand and still be in love. So that is a poem that obviously I've written since the pandemic began. And I've been thinking a lot about isolation and, the difference about how things were before it started and how things have changed now that, that COVID is here. So that's really what I had in mind when I wrote that. I'm trying to figure out how to scroll for comments here. I don't seem to see them. So, okay. Okay, I see that people have liked my comments, so at least there's that. At least I know that you saw mine. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and read another poem while I'm waiting to see if comments show up. Let me see, I think I just lost the thread there. Okay, so the next poem is from this chapbook that I just showed you. And I guess I'll tell you a little bit about the chapbook. This is a collaborative process that I did with a musician and also an artist. And what we did was the musician is the composer, Christopher Theophanides, and he had written a composition based on the Conference of the Birds by the ancient texts by Attar. And a quartet that was performing it wanted to read some contemporary poems to go between the musical pieces because they're very short. And they wanted to sort of, play a little piece that's like 2 or 3 minutes, and then after that, read a poem, and then play a little piece and read a poem. So he contacted me about writing the poems to go between the pieces, and I was delighted to do that. And I've been part of a writing group called The Grind, where I write a poem every day. And it's kind of like NaPoWriMo, but I do it all the time. And I've started doing it now to where I write a poem a day, 8 months out of the year, and then the other 4 months out of the year I submit. So, and revise and work on manuscripts and stuff like that. So it's 2 months on of writing, 1 month off, 2 months on, 1 month off. And it's like a really, really good rhythm for me. I recommend it. Okay, so I'll read you a poem from this, and this project was done really kind of quickly. I wrote this, the poems that go in this chapbook in about like a week and a half to 2 weeks, just because we were going to have a performance or several performances, and I wanted to have the poems done obviously in time for the performance and have a book put together so that it would be available at the performances. So the first poem that I'm going to read, and I'm trying to think of what you might need to know to totally understand this poem. Basically, okay, so you need to kind of know that the story behind this is that there are birds, and they've come together and discovered that they don't really have like a spiritual leader, and they want to find who their leader is, and they're going to go on this trek across the world and find their leader, the bird leader. And so they travel across all these valleys, and it's like the Valley of Love, the Valley of, I'm trying to remember the names of the valleys, the Valley of Love, the Valley of, I'm sorry, I can hear my cat crying in the background, and I'm like, ah, I need to go tend to him, but he'll be okay. So the valley, let's see, I'll just look in here. So the valley of love, we've got the valley of the quest, the valley of knowledge. So these are all things that the birds learn as they go along, and so that they can sort of reach enlightenment. And it's a really beautiful story because by the time they get to the end of it, they come to realize that they actually are sort of the, uh, the, the leader bird, the divine that they're looking for. It's in themselves individually and also in themselves collectively. So it's a beautiful story. So this poem that I'm about to read is the prologue to that, and it's called When the Bird Song Rings Human. When the bird song rings human, the hoopy bird forgets its tongue, like a time traveler accidentally leaving a glove in a year that hasn't happened. The tongue wanders strange gray streets, its sour and sweet buds lit up with the hoopy's hunger, glowing like a jellyfish in the rain. Now the tongue knows no house can promise safety, not the sheath of mouth, not even the body, which laughs at the body of time, stretched like a poolside lizard across dimensions. The tongue bellows for the hoopy across the green. The hoopy hears what he thinks is an echo, not blazing, but persistent, ever present, a little fuzzy, like a radio that's not coming in well, or the hum and buzz of the street lamps and telephone wires he knew in that other world. Everything the bird means to say turns ancient at the root and falls off. Because God is not a clock nor a sundial reaching forward with narrow arms. God is a million tiny pieces, like glitter or destiny, breaking flesh into astonishment, breaking pain into daggers of light. Okay, so I'm going to read another one from that same book, and I still don't see comments coming in. I don't know. Let me see if there's a different way to organize it or something. Oh, it says only. Okay, I need to uncheck this. Okay, now maybe something will show up. It said only comments with over 100 characters will be shown. So, I don't know. Is anybody commenting? Lots of people are commenting, but it seems that I can't see it. Okay, let me see what I can do. Maybe I can change the settings here. Thank you for letting me know, Katie. Katie's sending me messenger messages to let me know. Let me try to grab it and scroll. This is weird. I still can't see any comments. Oh, I think I've got it. Okay, well, I'll just keep reading and hopefully at some point the comments will show up because I definitely would love to know what people are saying. So the next poem is also from the same book. It's called There's a Brightness Folded into Every Bird. And it's one of those poems where the title of the poem bleeds into the first line. So, there's a brightness folded into every bird, but the bird doesn't know it. The bird is 30 birds who soared out of dreaming to invent sky. 30 birds flying in the formation of a bird. God tells them, open, O moonbeam, O silver black, O sliver of luck. And the bird says, break me until I'm whole. God says, empty, and the bird spills a splendor of jewels from their 30 beaks into the valley. Don't think I'm a diamond, God says. Find me, and hands the bird a map back into the inside of its own bone, then disappears. But the bird doesn't understand the question. 30 birds split into 1,000 that search under everything: stone, fabric, sun face, gold, until they find no God. Now the beak yells, take me, I have no reason, and an arch of wing lifts sun up towards light, and a thump under the chest answers yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. So that is another book, another poem from that same collection. And I'm coming back here quickly just to see if I can see comments. I don't know what's going on. Okay, somebody's sending me another message. Oh, wonderful. Okay, somebody sent me a picture of comments, so I'll take a quick look at that and see if there are any questions. Oh, the poem about the hoopy bird was called, thank you for that question. That was called When the Birdsong Rings Human. Thank you. Okay, anything else? You did not see them while you're in reading mode. Oh, okay, so when I quit reading, I'll see them. Okay, thanks, y'all. That's really helpful. I really appreciate seeing people here, so. Yeah. Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to read another poem, and this one is from something else. And I appreciate the people who are sending shots of the comments, so if there are any questions, I can answer them. I'll just read a couple more poems, since it was sort of a late startup in terms of, just getting this rolling. So let me see here. This is a recent poem too. It's called, it's called Migration Patterns. And I think it kind of speaks for itself, so I'll just go ahead and read it. Migration Patterns. In a dream, I tell customs like a llama is a goat, because sometimes the heart is not large enough to hold what is beautiful if the mind finds it exotic. Sometimes the mind mistakes itself for a hoarded piece of land, and little campfires spring up everywhere. Smoke slinks through chain link. Small hands and shoulders capsize beneath a dehydrated, salt-sick sun. In the dream, I carry mountains through international waters. I carry the hills, their babies, to safety. Sometimes I wave away a predator, and there is fire in my hand, and my hand does not want to be part of a human body. It wants to belong to the llama, the goat, the hills, the mountain. In the dream, I've got the North Star in my trunk. I'm driving it across a border. I'm taking it to a different part of the sky. It can't stand what it has seen. What we need is not a fixed point. What we need is a world anthem that everyone knows the words to. One that says, come in, come on, come over, I've got you. In the dream, light leaks from thin cracks where the trunk door meets the body of the car. The star says, put me on the dashboard and I will guide you. The officer says, illegal, you can't take a star to another part of the sky. And I say, watch me. I say, I've got enough light to do anything. Okay, so I may read just one more poem and stop at that and see what questions are coming up. Really don't know. Oh, I think I have an idea. Still not. I'm also very tiny. Oh, I think I know how to make this work. Okay. Chat. Yeah. Okay, I'll read one more poem and then just either answer questions if somebody sent them to me through Messenger, or I'll just talk for a little while. Either way, it'll be fine. So I think anybody who has sort of looked at my Facebook page lately knows that I've recently suffered some losses. Several people I know have died in a very close together time period. And so I've been thinking about death a lot lately, and I wrote this poem. It's called Choose Your Own Ending. And obviously it's about death. So choose your own ending, and it's in parts. One, you learn to forget that you've done anything wrong. Forget the cats you couldn't save. Forget the human you broke like a horse and abandoned. You swim all night with your own shadow. Inside the building, someone prays beneath a prophet's tongue, the prophet that sleeps like a kitten next to the splintered leg of a chair. Two, too fast around the bend, the orange convertible. Find the knife hidden inside your body, cut yourself out. Invent the language of wishbones released from cages. Three, the poem wears a crucifix to honor you. You dip it in water, and it tells you the secrets of warm, late summer rain, and how bodies can forget to be bodies, how they can just float away. Now you know what it means to be a kite owned by a kid who loves you enough to let go of the string. Four, a wisp of breath magnificently surrendering to angels. Five, not a hyena, not a broken pane in a French door. It's something else that cracks you. The tender, dimpled 6-year-old grandchild hand extending the child's favorite toy on your birthday. How some of us are willing to give until there are no more cakes to slice into pieces. 6, it was you who placed the dead cricket beneath the incense. You who read the changing light patterns on the wall. You who broke the snowflakes into a billion different galaxies, a billion different letters in an unknown alphabet. It was you who became the divine language on a divine tongue. 7, with a sudden blithesome charm, the way if you hold a mirror to a baby, the baby goes silent with a giggle or a sigh. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick minute here to look in my messenger messages since I can't see the comments. Screenshots of comments. Here's another one. No, it's the same comments that were there before. Okay. I'm starting to feel like I'm not the most technologically intelligent person, not being able to find this, but I want to ask if anyone has questions, but I can't see the questions, so. Oh, here's a message from Sarah. Let me see what that says. Yes, Sarah, if you can, you can paste those in. I'd be happy to see it. So even though I can't see, if anyone has questions, go ahead and paste them in. Or, go ahead and put them in the comments, and Sarah will paste them in for me. So, okay. I think something's about to pop up. Okay. Could I talk a little bit about the role of music in my work? Thank you. That's a really good question. I am going to take a quick sip. Music is actually really important to me. In this particular project, obviously, because it's based on music, it was important because the music really inspired everything I wrote. And even though it was originally based on an allegorical long poem, I really focused more on the music itself when writing the poems than, of course I read the long poem by Attar, The Conference of the Birds. I actually read 2 different translations of it, but I listened to the musical pieces over and over and over to write these poems. But even when it's not a project that's based specifically on music, I listen to music a lot to write, And I feel like even there are certain songs that I listen to that if I put that song on and put in my headphones, I feel like I can just completely like almost activate some sort of muscle memory or something because I've written to those songs so many times, and so it's important. Also, I love to dance, and when I was a kid, I always wanted to take dance classes, and for some reason or another, it didn't ever quite work out. So I started taking belly dancing classes about a little over a year ago, about 2 years ago, and started dancing at the age of 49 for the first time in my life, like in some sort of practiced way. So one of the ways that I write sometimes is to like write a little bit and then hop up and put on a song and dance and then go back and write and then dance and write. And the energy of the song really feeds for me, oftentimes, the energy of the poem. So, I can look at the poems later and say, oh, I was listening to rap music when I wrote that one, or oh, I was listening to, classical music when I wrote that one, or flamenco. I can sort of tell by the poem and the energy of the poem what kind of music I was listening to when I wrote it. So it's very important to me. And I feel like also sometimes when I'm not personally feeling energetic because I try to write so much, it's almost like the music lends me its energy. Like I borrow the energy from the music to, pour into the poem and to the writing. So thank you. That was a great question. I'm looking to see if there are any more. The long allegorical poem is by Attar. It's Attar, and it is a Sufi poem. So it's absolutely beautiful. I highly recommend it. It's filled with wisdom and just, I mean, it's about birds, obviously, but it's also so much about humans. So, okay, let me see. More comments. Um, the t-shirt is fun. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, really nice comments. Let's see what else is coming in. So, what are some things I'm working on right now? Okay, I want to just say thanks to everyone who is sort of throwing in their faith and making comments, even though it's hard for me to see them. So, what I'm working on right now, I'm actually working on several projects all at the same time because I really work better that way. I find that if I have multiple things going, then if I get stuck on one thing, I can work on another thing. So I always kind of have something I can work on. So I'm working on one project, which is like a series of poems that are told from the perspective of Philomella's tongue. So if you're not familiar with the mythological character Philomela, it's kind of gruesome. She was raped by her sister's husband, and when she threatened to tell, he cut out her tongue. And so the poems that I'm writing right now are mostly told from the perspective of the tongue itself rather than Philomela. So they're kind of unusual, but I also have poems from Philomela's perspective and from the perspective of other characters and other tongues, and so that's one. And I'm working on another poem, another book that's saints and goddesses and gods, and it's this weird sort of motley collection of different characters. And some of the saints that I'm talking about are not, saints as we know them, but saints that I sort of, created out of people I know and that kind of thing, and people who have done wonderful things like in the Black Lives Matter movement. I've sort of sainted some of those people in my poems. So I'm trying to think what else. The other one I'm working on is a collection called At Stake, and it's about different women who have been persecuted. So far, it's about women. It may expand to include men as well, but people who have been persecuted for witchcraft and that kind of thing. So, and then I have one other thing, which is a collection of random poems, and anything that doesn't fit in any of those, I just call, random and stick it in a file, and eventually it starts to take a shape and have something. Oh, and one more. I just finished the manuscript called Dear Selection Committee, which is told as if somebody is applying for a job. So it's got letters of application and stuff like that, but it's like a humorous and serious collection. So another question, what is the name of the North Star poem and which of my books is it in? Okay, thank you. So that poem is called Migration Patterns, and it's in the book called Dear Selection Committee, which is just now sort of being chopped around. So it's currently a finalist in a contest, so I'm hoping that it'll win that and get published on that press. I won't give too many details because I don't want to spook myself. But that book will come out in the next couple of years. But it did, that poem Migration Patterns did recently win the Winning Writers, it's called Winning Writers Contest. So if you want to read it, you can just go to the Winning Writers website, and they've got it posted there. Thanks for asking about that. Someone asked about readings that I'm doing in July. I am doing a reading on the 23rd, which I believe is this Thursday, with my friend RJ Jeffries. So I just look at my Facebook page in the coming days and I'll post a note about that. I'm really excited about that because Jeff and I have been friends for a really long time and we've never actually given a reading together. This is the first time, so I'm super excited about that. And Jeff just had released his first chapbook, so. I guess I need Jeff to tell me if it's a chapbook or a full length, but anyway, it's his first poetry collection and I'm super excited about it. So, let's see, what else? What period was the poem written in? I'm not sure which poem that refers to. Oh, I'm thinking maybe it's the Sufi poem. I believe it's the medieval period. It's quite old, quite old. So, let's see. Okay, we can see if there are more questions. What am I reading now and most excited to read next? That's a great question. Thank you. I'm sitting at my desk, so I can just kind of show you the poem, the books that I'm reading right now. I'm reading this, which is And Her Soul Out of Nothing. It's a wonderful book. It came out like in the 90s, I think. And I'm sort of eternally reading this huge book of Lucille Clifton poems. Look how big that thing is. The poems are quite short if you're not familiar with her. So even though the book looks huge, it's easy to get through because, well, the poems are excellent, first of all, but also, there's a lot of white space around them, and it's just, yeah, they're beautiful, beautiful poems. I recommend that book. I'm reading this book called The Writing of the Disaster by Glenn Show, and I'm reading this. I was actually reading this before the pandemic started because I was working on the Philomella's Tongue poems, and that just got me thinking about writing about things that are really difficult and, disastrous happenings and PTSD and that kind of thing. But it's also sort of helping me think about ways to express myself, while we're dealing with so many changes in society. And then this book I'm actually rereading. This is by Marcelo Hernandez Castillo, and I just absolutely love this book. So one of the things that I do when I read is I'm usually reading several books at the same time because I leave them in different parts of the house. And when I'm in one room, I'm reading one book, and when I'm in another room, I'm reading another book. But I usually have at least one of the group of books that I'm reading that is something that I'm rereading, because I like to make sure that I'm also reading something that I know I love as I'm working through other things. So what am I most excited to read next? Gosh, you know, when I went to AWP this year, and it was a very thin AWP. There weren't that many people there because it was right at the beginning of March, and you know, people were worried to come, and with good reason. So Flower Conroy gave me her new book while I was there, and I haven't started it yet. I'm about to start it, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you. You read like that too. That's nice. I'm glad to hear that other people read that way. Okay, so let me see. Are there any more questions? No? Oh, Patricia. Oh, wonderful. Oh, Patricia, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to check the time, and since I don't see that many more questions, I'll just tell you one quick thing and then end the reading. I'm in my office right now, which has me thinking about the way that I write, and there's something that I really love to do that I thought I would share with y'all tonight. And what I see looking up here is just a bunch of baskets, and one says lists, one says poems, one says words, one says games, and they're all stuff that, one says questions, they're all things that inspire me to write. And so I keep these things physically around me. So like lists, for instance, you know, a list, and I've got the things in there written on note cards. So a list in there might be something like a list of all the kinds of flowers in Texas, or a list of, you know, kinds of horses, or something like that. And then I have various writing games that I've bought online and just sort of poured into the same basket. I have, you know, whenever I read a poem that I love, I often write it down on a note card and just stick it in this basket. I've got lines that I like, words that I come across that I love, just literally a big basket full of words. And it's just like constant inspiration. My house is kind of like a playground for writing. So I have all this stuff around me, and if I feel stuck or something, I just pour out one of the baskets or two of the baskets and flip through, and I'm going again. So I thought that would be a fun thing to share with you all. So I'm going to look at one last comment, and then I will close out. So, okay. So looks like that's it. Thank you all for being here tonight, and I'm really grateful to have you to share poetry with, and I look forward to hearing some of your readings. So good night, everyone.